Hi everyone! Today, let's dive into a pressing issue that's shaping the lives of thousands of students and families, the housing crisis. But not just any housing crisis. We're zooming into a scenario reminiscent of the struggles seen in the 1980s, yet unfolding right before our eyes in 2024. The current housing market is very different from that of the mid-2000s. It is not overbuilt, nor is it fueled by subprime mortgages, lax lending guidelines, or heavily leveraged homeowners. Nonetheless, there are similarities between the 1980s and contemporary housing markets. Though it doesn't repeat itself, history frequently rhymes. Baby boomers were entering their prime years for purchasing a home in the late 1970s and early 1980s, creating a tsunami of demand from this cohort. The demographics of the early 1980s parallel the present housing market, since millennials are an echo of the baby boomers and are approaching their prime home buying years. Based on our home recession indicator, the current housing market is experiencing a recession that is very comparable to the one that occurred in the late 1970s and early 1980s. Interest rates skyrocketed in the late 1970s and early 1980s as the Federal Reserve battled to control the Great Inflation. Do you recognize this? Higher inflation and stricter monetary policy caused mortgage rates to rise, peaking at 18% in 1981. Home affordability drastically decreased, and sales of existing homes declined as mortgage rates rose to levels never seen before or since. Inflation had dropped to 5% by October 1982. By the end of 1982, the Federal Reserve permitted the federal funds rate to return to roughly 9%, and the 30-year fixed mortgage rate dropped in tandem. From the high in 1978 to the low point in 1982, opens in a new tab, window, existing home sales decreased by about 50% before increasing in tandem with lower mortgage rates. In 1978, home prices increased by more than 14%, opens in a new tab, window, but by 1982, year-over-year growth had slowed to barely 1%, and prices had stabilized. Similar conditions exist today. Home sales are under more downward pressure than prices. In 2022, the annual growth rate of home prices was close to 17, opens in a new tab window percent. But in the second quarter of this year, the growth rate slowed to 5%. In the meantime, existing home sales fell by about 40% between the most recent August data and the peak in January 2022. The level of price reduction is constrained by a chronically undersupplied housing market, yet sales are negatively impacted by potential purchasers being priced out and existing homeowners having no motivation to sell. Though it took some time, the housing market did eventually recover from the 1980s. Stabilizing mortgage rates and inflation were crucial. We believe that the housing recessionary conditions will persist in the foreseeable future because mortgage rates have risen even further in October. Nonetheless, industry projections indicate that mortgage rates will likely ease if the Federal Reserve gives investors more assurance and halts more monetary tightening. The key to an ultimate housing recovery is mortgage rate stability, even if the stabilization takes place with rates at a higher level. The state of the market generally, which is mostly determined by supply and demand, should be taken into consideration when determining when to buy or sell a property. Consumers may make informed decisions about when to purchase or sell, as well as what might happen to the market in the future, by understanding how near the market is to a healthy level of activity. Without knowing the state of the market at the time, it is challenging to evaluate it while looking at the quantity of residences sold. Contextualizing historical events is crucial. Our potential house sales model calculates the parameters of a healthy home sales market based on the housing, economic, and demographic context. It's not just in California. Across the nation, universities and cities face similar dilemmas, balancing the need to house more people with the need to maintain quality living standards. This crisis isn't just about buildings and budgets. It's about how we value and prioritize human needs and experiences. As we reflect on these developments, it's crucial to engage in these discussions, whether you're a student, a parent, or just someone interested in the shaping of our social environments. These decisions will impact young lives, community structures, and ultimately, the soul of our educational institutions. What do you think about living in a windowless room if it meant a solution to the housing shortage? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this discussion enlightening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay informed and engaged, because every voice matters in shaping the future we all share. Scene 2, the broader implications. But let's take a step back and look at the broader implications of this housing crisis. Urban areas are expanding rapidly, and with that comes the challenge of providing adequate housing. Governments and institutions are grappling with how to create affordable housing solutions that meet the needs of growing populations. Sustainable housing designs and eco-friendly building practices are becoming more critical than ever. Community-focused housing projects aim to create inclusive environments where everyone can thrive. Public forums and policy debates are essential in shaping the future of housing. Innovative solutions are being explored, from tiny homes to co-living spaces, to address the diverse needs of urban dwellers. The housing crisis impacts not just where we live, but how we live, influencing social dynamics and long-term strategies for urban development. Engaged communities and collaborative efforts are key to overcoming these challenges. As we move forward, it's crucial to continue these discussions and shape policies that reflect the needs and values of our society. Together, we can find solutions to the housing crisis and build a better future for everyone. Thank you for watching. Stay engaged and informed, and let's work together to create a world where everyone has a place to call home. Scene 3, the future of housing. As we look to the future, the landscape of housing is set to evolve in unprecedented ways. Smart homes equipped with the latest technology will become more common, offering convenience and efficiency. Green buildings and sustainable living practices will be at the forefront of new housing developments. Urban farming and integrating nature into housing designs will help create healthier living environments. Modular homes and flexible housing solutions will provide adaptable living spaces for diverse needs. Community living and shared spaces will foster stronger social connections and support networks. Inclusive housing policies will ensure that everyone, regardless of their background, has access to safe and affordable housing. The trends we see today will shape the homes of tomorrow, creating a more connected and sustainable world. Engaging with these innovations and participating in the evolution of housing will be crucial for building a better future. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more updates on the future of housing, and let's continue to work together to create a world where everyone has a place to call home.